Welcome to Outlook Video for December 2015. Ongoing advancements in the prevention of and fight against HIV/AIDS with Dr. Michael Harbour. Bennett Marks reflects on the AIDS epidemic. Pharmaceutical research in prevention and treatment of HIV/AIDS with Dr. Dana Pizzuti. Music and dancing and tutus, oh my! It's time to get your dancing shoes for this year's Dance Along Nutcracker.
And welcome to the December 2015 World AIDS Day edition of Outlook Video, your nationally recognized award-winning news magazine for LGBT communities. I'm Raymond Donald Hong.
And I'm Christine Conkle. In keeping with our World AIDS Day theme, Jay Raley will host Dr. Michael Harbour here in the studio. As the Executive Director of Infectious Diseases at Merck Pharmaceutical Company, Dr. Harbour will share with us some of the latest news in the ongoing fight against HIV/AIDS.
With a respectful reflection on the past and a hopeful look into the future, Bennett Marks joins us again this month. Stay with us for his thoughtful commentary later in our program.
And the AIDS epidemic has been with us for nearly 35 years, and to this day there is still ongoing advancement in medications to fight HIV and the opportunistic diseases that may follow. Dr. Dana Pizzuti will talk with Ajay Franciscus on pharmaceutical research in the area of HIV/AIDS later in this half hour.
And if you dressed up as a witch for this year's Halloween, save your costume because you can give it second life. It's time for the Dance Along Nutcracker, and it will fit in with this year's theme. Here's a hint. Look at her ruby red shoes there. Michael Eller from this year's production will show you how to make your own costume that will make Martha Stewart proud. More details later in the program.
For now, let's join Jay Raley in the studio with Dr. Michael Harbour.
Dr. Michael Harbour is the Executive Director of Infectious Diseases at Merck, the international developer, manufacturer, and distributor of pharmaceuticals. We have the privilege to again talk with him about the latest medical advances currently available for HIV and those at risk. Welcome, Dr. Harbour.
Hi, Jay.
Could you tell us a little bit about the latest findings of START, I believe it's called?
Yeah, the START trial.
The START trial.
This was a really large international trial that helped to try to understand the best timing for when to initiate antiviral therapy after somebody gets infected. We've had different periods throughout the disease of when we may start therapy. We waited to certain T cells to get to certain levels, or viral loads get to a certain level.
Right.
And we've had different iterations of guidelines. But what we learned in this trial is as soon as you get infected, that's the best time to initiate therapy. It helps preserve the immune system regardless of what your T cell count is, regardless of what your viral load is. And they also saw that certain other diseases and the risk of dying from those diseases also went down. So the risk of cardiac disease, opportunistic infections, liver disease, all subsided and went down when initiating antiretroviral therapy sooner. So worldwide, the guidelines are now to start therapy as soon as practical.
Well, there were the problems, the setbacks, and the problems with having some of these, so many pills and stuff, and I can understand why they'd want to hold off. But we have so many new medicines to make it a lot simpler process. So tell us a little bit about this thing called PrEP.
Sure. So you're right, the medications have improved dramatically. Medications have also been combined into combination tablets to reduce the number of pills necessary. And PrEP, or pre-exposure prophylaxis, is a medication that a patient can take who may be at risk of HIV to try to lower their risk of acquiring HIV. So it's a part of an HIV cocktail, if you will. It's actually two drugs in one that you can take on a daily basis.
Just one pill a day.
One pill per day, and it reduces the chances of acquiring HIV if exposed to it.
You're exposed to it. And so there have been some advancements in other things. What's the name of that drug that's primarily in PrEP?
So PrEP, or the generic components are tenofovir and emtricitabine. The two drugs together is called Truvada.
Okay. Truvada.
There is a new and improved tenofovir called tenofovir alafenamide. It works very similarly, but you don't need as high of milligram dosing as you did of the previous drug. And so it's a little easier on the kidneys, a little less toxic on the body, and it has the same effect. But Truvada is the one pill once per day that's used for the pre-exposure prophylaxis. And we often give this to people who are at risk. They may have a sexual partner who's HIV. They don't consistently use condoms, so they may be at risk when having sex. They have many sexual partners, many of whom they don't know their HIV status, or they've had sexually transmitted diseases that put them at risk of acquiring HIV, such as syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia. Those would be the types of people that we would target PrEP for.
Are there any precursors that some people are more inclined to catch HIV versus those? Is there any predisposition?
So many people have thought over the years that they've been immune to HIV because they've been exposed and they haven't gotten it.
Right.
I've basically found that not to be true.
Okay.
There are some genetic differences between people's T cells that may make them a little less likely to get it. My rule of thumb is don't play Russian roulette. Right. Do as much as you can to protect yourself. And so PrEP now is the way to go. We'll have hopefully newer and different types of PrEP. So maybe injections that you may only need to take once every 3 months. We're looking at vaginal rings that women could put on their cervix that would prevent them from getting HIV through intercourse.
Right.
So there's many different ways that we can talk about PrEP for the future. Right now it's the Truvada tablet daily.
Okay, and so this TAF, is that part of the new thing? Is that part of?
So that's the new and improved tenofovir called
Okay.
tenofovir alafenamide. It's a precursor of the tenofovir, and it's allowing patients to take this little potentially less toxic formulation of the tenofovir.
There's so many more questions. No chance of a vaccine anytime soon.
Right now, no vaccines and no cure on the immediate horizon. It's a goal of all of ours to continue to pursue, but right now, it still remains elusive.
So many more questions, and we'll have to leave it at that. To find out more about Dr. Michael Harbour and his work, please contact him at the PACE Clinic at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. He's got a number. It's 408-885-5935. Thanks again, Dr. Harbour, for joining us.
Favorite songs of all, the Nutcracker.